My name is Anthony John. I'm the co-partner in Soiled Reputation here in Sebringville, Ontario. We have an 80-acre farm and 40 acres of it is certified organic. We've been growing organic vegetables for 24 years, servicing the restaurants in southwestern Ontario. We grow about probably 120 different kinds of vegetables, breaking them down into leafy greens. Our primary item is our gourmet greens. It's a salad mix with a number of different kinds of lettuces and leafy greens and seedlings. We also do custom salad mixes for restaurants, some wild edibles for garnish plates. With us harvesting all our root vegetables and putting up 4 greenhouses, it is 365 days of the year. We have a downtime maybe from the middle of December until the middle of January. And then the sun is close enough that everything in the greenhouses starts ramping up again. And by February, we have to vent the greenhouses because they're getting too hot and we can't keep up with the salad greens. So it's a very, very quick turnaround time with the seasons for us. Geographically and climatically, the soil here is among the best anywhere for growing food. It's situated far enough from Lake Huron that we get the right amount of rain. I'm more interested in flavor than I am in yield, and I take a winemaker's approach to managing my crops and soil micronutrient levels. You know, a lot of times in the conventional vegetable market, vegetables are grown on a large scale because they yield lots, not because they are particularly tasty. And so people get used to, say, butternut squash because that's what everyone's growing. They're growing butternut squash because you get a lot of a plant, so it's profitable. But it's not necessarily the tastiest squash that you can work with as a chef. And we like the chefs that are willing to think outside of the normal and say, okay, give me your tastiest squash. I want something that's dry and flaky, or I want something that's moist and will cook. And we like to match each chef up with an ingredient that way. One of the great advantages in growing in Canada as opposed to California is the very fact that Canada, especially southwestern Ontario, gets frost. And that triggers a biochemical reaction in vegetables. It makes them produce sugar as an antifreeze. And so if you can grow your vegetables later into the season and take advantage of that frost, you end up with sweeter carrots, sweeter beets that you can buy from California. So we learned to take advantage of that aspect, and before it got too cold, we take them out of the field and we store them, because now they've got a lot of sugar in the roots. They'll keep from November until April in the root cellars. Our squash, our winter squash, we have some varieties that'll keep until March, April, and they'll slowly release the starch into sugar throughout the winter months. So as they mellow in the barn, then that flavor will develop. They'll get sweeter and sweeter. So it actually enhances the flavor of a lot of the products. We partnered with a beekeeper a few years ago. We're up to 20 hives now. They're producing 2,000 pounds of honey a year, and it's unlike any of the honey around here because they're feeding on blue basil, tangerine gem marigolds, Genovese basil, plus all of the wild flowers that we've got around here like goldenrod, and I sow my buffer strips to buckwheat. We're influencing the flavor of the honey by planting crops for the bees to feed on, and that's part of our tapestry approach to this, that how many strands can we weave into this food web to make it strong and cohesive and interesting and biodiverse. I get to play with color and texture and flavor as a farmer. I mean, not many farmers get to have such a creative option. It's also incredibly validating to go into a restaurant and have a meal at the restaurant we supply without the diners knowing who we are and hearing them talk about the food on the plate. It just makes me glow when I hear people talk about either the turnips that they're having for the first time. Also, the kind of appreciation we get from the chefs that we supply when we go and eat there is one of those intangible things that you can't put a monetary value on, but it makes you want to try harder for the chefs.